CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Lauren Pastrana, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Right at the top, the Copa America final soccer game kicks off this Sunday right here in South Florida. Colombia goes head-to-head with Argentina, all for a chance at their first title since 2001. CBS News Miami's Peter Dench is in Miami Gardens, where multiple police agencies are expected to keep security tight.
We're learning that security is being stepped up for the Copa America final soccer game this Sunday night here at Hard Rock Stadium between Colombia and Argentina. Miami-Dade police tell us that more than 60,000 fans are expected to attend the game here at the stadium. And they say hundreds of police officers from multiple police agencies will be here to ensure safety. There is also a long list of items that you cannot bring into the stadium. We are going to hear from police as well as fans planning to attend this big game that's coming up in just an hour. In Miami Gardens, Peter Dench, CBS News, Miami.
If you're still looking to score tickets, get ready to shell out some cash. The cheapest seat available on StubHub right now is nearly $2,000. That's located in the 300 level at Hard Rock Stadium. The most expensive is almost $68,000. That hefty price tag gets you a somewhat better view in the 100 section.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
And taking a live look outside right now, mostly dry day so far, but a few showers and storms may pop up throughout this evening. Next Weather Chief Meteorologist and Hurricane Specialist Ivan Cabrera is here now with your weekend weather. Ivan.
All right, yeah, we are here on the weekend. Wow, those tickets. 86 degrees as we check in with feels like temperatures in the 90s right now, but a lot more blue sky than we've been dealing with the last few days. Yesterday overcast, and of course the days before that, but we've been dealing with the dust. Right now, just a few showers in the picture here, but I think we will get into some additional showers and perhaps a couple of thunderstorms for the rest of the evening. So if you have outdoor plans, just keep that in mind. About a 20% chance, so nothing extraordinary here, and it's not going to be anything that you're going to have to, dodge for an extended period of time. 87 in Key West right now, 88 in Fort Lauderdale. These are tolerable numbers. Of course, we've rained in some areas. You can see their Homestead only feels like 83, courtesy of a shower and thunderstorm that rolled through there. For again, the rest of the evening will diminish those rain chances, keep temperatures in the lower 80s, and then for the weekend coming up tomorrow, we'll wake up with quiet conditions, but by say between 8 and 9 o'clock. I think we'll have a couple of showers in the picture here, but it really is going to be a nice weekend, I think, weather-wise. About as typical as it gets. There's just not much organized here. We'll have few showers coming in and then some inland thunderstorms there, but most of the day I think will feature dry conditions. A little bit lower rain chance coming up for Sunday. I think for, Saturday a little bit higher, but only between 40 and 30 for both days respectively there. So looking good with that east flow. Again, morning showers for Sunday and then afternoon inland thunderstorms. That's how we'll transition into the Sunday afternoon, and pretty much the same deal as we head into early next week. In the tropics, things are very, very quiet, and the reason for that, we have the strongest plume of Saharan dust in quite some time here, and these just keep coming in, and you can see more on the way. Some big dust storms getting kicked up in the continent of Africa, and that pushes the dust across the Atlantic. So we are relatively quiet, not expecting development here in the next 7 days and beyond, I think, at this point. Rip currents on the low side, we're looking good there. As far as the forecast for tomorrow, we'll have temps back in the upper 80s to lower 90s, and rain chances between 20 and 30%. We'll keep it that way as we head into Sunday. Both weekend days will feature temperatures in the lower 90s. It'll feel much warmer with the humidity, but we won't spend a good deal of time in that. And then we stay in the low 90s with good rain chances each afternoon next week.
Ivan, thank you. New video this afternoon showing a deadly mass shooting in Fort Lauderdale. We want to warn you, the video may be tough to watch. Bullets flying outside a convenience store on Northwest 10th Terrace Monday. Investigators say they found the silver vehicle seen in the video, but a suspect has not been identified. 5 people were shot, including a 2-year-old boy. That boy's family says he underwent brain surgery, and they say his mother died at the scene trying to protect him. Police say a man also died at the hospital. Now to a consumer alert. The FBI is investigating a major hack at AT&T. So far, 1 person has been taken into custody. CBS News Miami has more on how to know if you're affected and what to do about it.
There's been a major data breach at AT&T. On Friday morning, the company announced hackers had accessed phone and text message records for nearly all of its cellular customers for the 6 months between May 1st and October 31st of 2022. This hack also includes what AT&T is describing as a very small number of customers from January 2nd, 2023. Now, the company says that the contents of the calls and texts weren't leaked, so pictures, birthdays, social security numbers, those are not just floating around, but the data does include the phone numbers that an AT&T customer interacted with. So far, one person has been taken into custody. AT&T says that it's going to alert impacted customers via text message, email, or traditional mail. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
And AT&T says it'll alert impacted customers via text, email, or traditional mail. CBS News Miami's Steve Majiri will have more on this story starting at 5. SpaceX's most prolific launch vehicle suffering a rare failure during a routine mission last night. The Falcon 9 rocket attempted to launch a batch of Starlink internet satellites into orbit. The mission seemed to be a smooth one at first, but then the second stage of the mission failed. The satellites were still deployed, but might be too close to Earth to remain in orbit. SpaceX says it doesn't know why it failed. There's new research on ways to lower your cancer risk. The groundbreaking cancer study when we come back. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's Quickcast. President Biden wrapped up the NATO summit in Washington with a solo press conference. But the questions centered more around his campaign and fitness for office than foreign policy. He continues to lose support from some congressional Democrats. CBS News Miami's Willie James Inman has more details from the White House.
President Biden held a rare press conference Thursday and declared again he will be the Democratic nominee, taking on Donald Trump for the White House.
I think I'm the most qualified person to run for president. I beat him once, and I will beat him again.
The president spent about an hour answering questions from reporters, mostly focused on his fitness to serve.
Presidency is the most straining job in the world, and it's 24/7. How can you say you'll be up for that next year, in 2 years, in 4 years?
I just got to pace myself a little more. Pace myself.
White House aides and supporters say they believe the president knocked it out of the park.
He was at his best yesterday. I mean, he is most comfortable when he's talking about policy. On foreign policy, frankly, he was more substantive than 90% of people in Congress.
But the president's responses were not flawless.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president.
Immediately after the event, several more Democratic lawmakers called on Biden to exit the race.
The numbers, the trajectory, what Americans feel in their bones right now suggest not only that Joe Biden would lose this race, but that he or we would lose the Senate and the House.
Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries met with President Biden Thursday night and conveyed concerns from some of his members. CBS News has learned dozens of lawmakers are considering calling on Biden to drop out over the next few days. Willie James Inman, CBS News, the White House.
President Biden is headed back out on the campaign trail today, making his pitch to voters in the battleground state of Michigan. Former President Trump has no public events scheduled today as he still considers who will be his vice presidential nominee. Meanwhile, Republicans are staying out of the way until they kick off their convention on Monday in Milwaukee. CBS News Miami's Caitlin Huey-Burns is there to show us what to expect.
As some Democrats are questioning their nominee, Republicans are rallying around theirs. Former President Donald Trump will be nominated at the party convention here in Milwaukee next week. And Biden's insistence on staying in this race is welcome news for the Trump campaign, which is eager for a rematch. The only X factor at this point for Republicans is who Trump will choose as his running mate. And he may wait until the convention starts in Milwaukee next week to make that decision, ceding the spotlight over the weekend to Democrats' struggles. The top contenders for the pick are North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum and Senators J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. We also are waiting for a list of speakers, but we know that Byron Donalds, the Florida congressman, and Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton are given primetime speaking spots at the convention. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who challenged Trump for the nomination, is also speaking at the convention here in Milwaukee. But Nikki Haley, another Trump rival, was not invited to attend. Trump will have a rally in the battleground state of Pennsylvania tomorrow before arriving here in Milwaukee next week. Caitlin Huey-Burns, CBS News, Milwaukee.
Happening today, the city of Miami reopening its 4 spoil islands. They were closed for the 4th of July holiday in an effort to stop the contamination and littering that's been happening there. Officials say they saw improvements when it made a similar move back in May ahead of the Memorial Day weekend. There will now be enhanced patrols and new signage to keep the islands clean. And if you're looking for something to do this weekend, Sunday is the extra day for lobster mini season, but it's only for Florida residents. This is in addition to the 2-day mini season, which takes place on July 24th and 25th. FWC says most people who live in the Keys are usually working during the mini season because there are a lot of visitors, and the additional day will give Floridians the chance to participate. And now on the Health Watch, there's new research on ways to lower your risk of getting cancer. In a groundbreaking new study, researchers at the American Cancer Society estimate 44% of all cancer deaths among adults 30 and older in the U.S. could be linked to lifestyle risks that can be changed. The most impactful is cigarette smoke. Others include excess body weight, alcohol consumption, physical inactivity, and diet.
And so in some ways, it's a lot of common sense, but in other ways, it's recognizing that these important lifestyle factors, which have historically been associated with improving heart disease risk and diabetes risk, now we're actually attributing to reducing cancer risk as well.
Health experts say one easy way to prevent cervical cancer and cancers of the tongue and throat is getting vaccinated against HPV. But data shows only 38% of children are vaccinated against that virus. The world's population is expected to peak sometime before the end of the century. The United Nations projects growth from 8.2 billion to 10.3 billion people worldwide. The report says fertility rates are dropping faster than expected. Currently, birth rates are at 2.25 births per woman, which is one less child than in 1990. Over 60 countries and territories are already experiencing a declining population, like Italy, Japan, Russia, and China. That's CBS News Miami's Quickcast. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS Miami.